Namaste students. Today in this video I am going to discuss the chapter 1 from your book Statistics for Economics. The name of the chapter is Introduction to Economics and Statistics. So before introduction to statistics, first we have to understand what is economics. Students, you see, man needs various types of goods and services for his daily livelihood. He cannot even continue to keep his existence without some of them. Minimum amount of food, clothing and shelter. There are again other goods and services such as nutritious food, superior variety of clothing, a good house to live in, transport facilities, health services, education, etc., which help man to improve his ability to work. Apart from these, people also feel the need of some goods and services which can give them a luxurious living in society. Students, different writers at different times have given different definition of economics. Different definitions are found to have given stress on different aspects of economics. Among them, there are four important definitions today I am going to discuss here. So first, see the first definition. Meaning of economics. The first definition is given by Adam Smith, the father of economics. He has given his definition in his book an Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nation, which is published in 1776. According to him, Adam Smith, economics is the study of wealth. So here, students, you remember that according to him, economics is the study of wealth. So here, Adam Smith given more important on the wealth only. According to him, the wealth of a country means large production, quantum of goods and services which are necessary for maintenance of livelihood of people of the country. After that, the next definition is given by Alfred Marshall. So according to the definition of Alfred Marshall, which is given on the book Principles of Economics, which is published in 1890, according to him, political economy or economics is the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. And he said that here, it is the examines that part of individual and social action which is most closely connected with the attainment and use of material requisite of well-being. So according to Alfred Marshall, he given important wealth is needed for increasing welfare of men, but he never given importance not for sake of wealth. Means he given only importance of wealth and welfare, but he never told about what is the alternative uses. So that is why Adam Smith definition, which is given on wealth, and Alfred Marshall definition, which is given on welfare of the economy, but this definition also criticized by Lionel Robbins. So he given the definition here. According to Lionel Robbins, who is giving definition published in his book The Nature and Significance of Economic Science, which is published in 1932. According to him, you see here the definition of economics. Economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. And if we see his definition, we will get main three important points. One is human wants are unlimited, resources to satisfy these wants are scarce, and alternative uses of scarce resources. So students, here try to understand what is humans wants are unlimited. Students, you see, we have unlimited wants. If we fulfill today one wants, again after few days another wants come in front of us. But to fulfill these wants, the resources are limited. Again we will discuss about this in the next topic. So now see the next topic what? The next definition is given by the according to Paul Samuelson. So he said the definition here. In his word, economics is the study of how men and society choose, with or without the use of money, to employ scarce productive resources and which could have alternative uses, to produce various commodities over time and distribute them for consumption now and future among various people and group of society. So here the Paul Samuelson definition also considered as the modern definition, and his definition is more scientific. Why? He given emphasis on economic growth and development over time, as well as on relevance of production to consumption, not only the present generation but also of future generation. So that is why his definition is accepted as the scientific and modern approach. Students, already I have told you the four definition. You see this one definition, Paul Samuelson. Then second definition I have given. Again next definition you see Lionel Robbins. One definition again here see Alfred Marshall. Again another definition is given by the Adam Smith. So students, remember that if we talk about the father of economics, then we know that Adam Smith is known as the father of economics. Remember that. So these are the definition of the economics. But students, come to the chapter. In the chapter, what we will discuss? In this chapter, we will discuss first meaning of economics, meaning of statistics, importance of statistics in economics, scope of statistics, and limitation of statistics. Already I have told you the meaning of economics. Now here I have told you in the beginning of the video that first we will discuss the economics, then we will discuss what is statistics and what is the relation between the statistics and economics. Students, now come to the next topic. Before go to the concept of statistics, again some important point is here necessary. You try to understand here some important terms related to economics. Who is consumer, who is seller, who is producer, who is service holder, who is service provider, and what is capital goods. So consumer, students, when you buy something, that time you are called consumer. Seller, who is selling goods and services, he is called a seller. Producer, who is produce the goods. Suppose farmer, manufacturer, they are called producer. Service holder, who actually working for some other persons, and instead of his, in return he get some salary or some wages, then he is called a service holder. And service provider means the doctor, lawyers, service, they are called service provider. Why? They are provide some kind of service to others for payment only. And capital goods means which are used in production of other goods. Students, remember that here capital goods means the machine is used in the manufacturing sector. Through the machines we can convert the raw materials to the final product. Suppose from cotton we produce the cloth is the final products. Now students, come to the next topic. Here again see types of activities, because I am telling that I will discuss the statistics. Before that, some basic concept I am telling now. So you see the types of activities. So first, economic activities. The activities which are performed mainly to earn, spend, invest or distribute money are called economic activities. So students, you just remember like that. Economic activities means which are concerned with the money. So economic activities are these three types. One is production, second is consumption, and third is distributions. Now students, you may want to know what is production. Production actually is the process through which raw material is converted into finished product. Consumption means what? Consumption is the process through which consumers satisfy their wants through the consumption of various goods and services. Distribution what? Distribution actually it is the process through which the total income generated in the country is distributed among the factories of production in the form of rent, wages, interest or profit. Distribution, students, you see, we are working in different sectors. So in return what we have got? salary or wages. When we are giving land for a company, then in return what we have get? Rent. So in this way the income are distributed among the people. So this system is known as the distribution. And again, second thing is that what is non-economic activities? Non-economic activities means those activities which are not concerned with money. Suppose your mother cooking food for your family, so in return she never got anything. So means what? She is engaged in non-economic activities. Next, students, you see, now again one important point is that what is economic problem? Why the economic problem arises? Economic problem, students, you see, there are three reasons. Due to these three reasons the economic problem arises. One is scarce resources, second is human wants are unlimited, third is resources have alternative uses. Student, you may be heard about the story of Aladdin magic lamp. When something is needed, Aladdin simply rub his magic lamp and that things are suddenly appeared in front of him. But in reality or in practical life, this type of magic lamp we have no. So that is why, what is our main problem? The problem is that the scarcity, means the lack of resources, means a situation when resources are not enough to satisfy all the wants of the people. So students, remember that scarcity is the root of all economic problem. And second point, you see, human wants are unlimited. I am telling in beginning of the chapter that I will discuss the second point, human wants are unlimited. Why it is said that, you see, our wants never limited. Not only you, not only me, the Anil Ambani, Mukesh Ambani, they have also unlimited wants. Why? This is our nature. Human wants are unlimited and recurring in nature. As soon as one want is fulfilled, another want arises. This is our human nature. And third point is that we know that our resources are limited, but our wants are unlimited. But thing is that how we will fulfill our main needs, because our needs are different. But first we have to understand which was is most important. For example, farmer can use a patch of land to grow food crops such as rice, fruits, vegetables, etc. Or on the other hand, he can be used to produce non-food crops, suppose cotton, jute, this also. But thing is that at the same time he cannot produce both the goods. If you want to produce potato, then he have to sacrifice the production of non-food crop, that is cotton. So this is called the alternative uses. Students, now come to the next, that is I am telling to you what is the meaning of statistics, because before the meaning of statistics we have to understand these are. So till now we have discussed about what is economics, four definition is given by different economists. Then I have told you about what is the chapter checklist. Then I have told you about what is the economic activities. Then I have also told you about some important terms related to the economics, that is the consumer, seller, producer, service holder, service provider and capital goods. And I have told you about the what is production, what is distribution and what is consumption. Students, now you see the most important thing is that why we need to study the statistics. Students, remember that statistics actually refers to the data, or you can say it is a method of collecting data. But statistics also has two distinct senses. One is plural sense and second one is singular sense. Now you see the plural sense. In plural sense, the word statistics refers to numerical set of data collected in a systematic manner with definite purpose in any field of study. Data can be classified as follows. Means data are also two types. One is quantitative data and one is qualitative data. Quantitative data means those data which can be expressed in number. That is, suppose price, income, we can express in number. But if we see the qualitative data, that is a good, intelligent, bad, beauty, this we cannot express in number. So this is all about the meaning of statistics in singular form. Now next, see what is in singular sense. Already we have discussed about the plural sense. Now we come to the definition of statistics in singular sense. So studying statistics as a singular noun implies the knowledge of various stages of statistics. Means here in singular sense we will use 5 stages. One is collection of data, means first we will collect the data. First we will collect the data. Data means collect data means which is related to the problem under investigation. Suppose we are going to know what is the literacy problem of the country. So first we have to investigate that, and after getting the data, what we have to do, whatever the data we collected, the investigator, he must organize by editing and classifying and tabulating. After organization of data, the data he should be presented with the help of tables, diagrams and graphs. And after that, data should be analysis. How we will analyze this? That is, there are different methods are available. Through that method we will analyze the data that we will discuss in the next chapter. Now and again, after analyzing, we will give the interpretations. That is the last stage. So these are the 5 interpretation, means the conclusions we will give on the data. So in this way we are use the statistics. Now come to the next point. What is the function of statistics? So functions of statistics, you see, it express facts relating to different phenomena in numbers. Means statistics we use in a number, not in a words. That is the beauty, intelligence, these are not statistics. And statistics, what do statistics always present the complex data in a simple form so that it becomes easy to comprehend. And statistics always enlarge our individual knowledge. Why? By doing the statistics we can easily understand what is the problem actually, and statistics help us to compare among the data, means what was the condition in the last 5 years and what will happen. So in this way we can compare with the present and future past data. And statistics used to formulate the policy formulations, means government use statistics to the policy formulation. Suppose to solve the problem of unemployment of the country, to solve the problem of illiterate problem of our country, so statistics is necessary, data is necessary. So on the basis of data, government can take policy to implement that, and in this way government doing these activities. When statistics are used, it is easy to implement and easy to understand also. Next, students, you see, what is the scope of statistics? Means where we can use the statistics. Statistics affects everybody and touches life at many points, and it is an indispensable tool which facilitates the study of many subjects and helps in various operational activities. Statistics we can use in planning. Statistics is very important for the planning process. Plans are generally drawn up on the basis of past year and which made available through statistics. Statistics we can use in the business and management also. Statistics is an immense importance for business, management and decision relating to the marketing, production, finance, investment and control are made on the basis of data provided by statistics. Statistics we can use in the industry also. Means in industries, statistics extensively used in quality control. The main objective of industries is to manufacture products and which conform to standard specification, and this is achieved through the only statistical tools of control charts and inspection plans. Statistics is used in economics also, because statistical data and techniques play an important role in economics to solve the economic problem. So this is all about the scope of statistics. Now come to the next point. What is the importance of statistics? Why we need to study the statistics in economics? So students, remember that already I have told you about the scope, functions, definitions. So now come to the importance. First important point is that understanding economic problems. You see, statistics help an economist to understand the economic problem. How? With the help of only statistical data. Means what are the cause behind the economic problem? This can be identified only with the help of statistics. Second point is that working out causes and effect relationship. So in this point, what we have understand, for example, to determine a relationship between consumption expenditure and average income. So data related to these variables will be collected and after that analyzed. So it will help what is the effect relationship between these two factors. And third point is that construction of economic theories of economic model. Means statistical data helps an economist in the formulation of economic theories. In some case, an economist assume a relationship between two variables and then collect the necessary data to test whether his assumption about the relation is valid or invalid. Next point, economic forecasting. Economic forecasting means the data which is investigated and which is provided by statistics. It helps to the economists to predict what will be the condition in future, what will be the trend of future, what will be the sense in one variable due to sense in another variable. So this will also give by the statistics. And the next point is the formulating policy. Formulating policy in order to decide how much oil India should import in 2016. The data related to the expected domestic production of oil and likely demand for oil in 2016 should be known. So how we will know? With the help of only statistical tools or statistical data. Next point is the presenting facts in a definite form. Means suppose the statement that average income of a village is above poverty lines does not give exact information. Why? Because we needed data. When we will get the data that in the village, suppose per month they have income 7,500. So this is a data. In a village, their income what is 7,500 per month. So in this way, data is a definite. Statistics give us a definite data, and with that definite data, we can easily able to understand what is actually there. And the last importance of statistics is that considering elaborate data in a concise form means it helps us to remember. Because students, you see, it is impossible to remember the income of all residents of a country. But when per capita income could be remembered with the help of only statistical data. Because statistical data sometimes give us concise data. Means when we will want to remember the elaborate data, sometimes it's create problem. But when we will remember only the concise data, means the small data, then it is easy to remember also. So in this way, statistics help in economics, and this is the importance of statistics in economics. Students, now come to the last topic of the chapter, that is limitation of statistics. Students, statistics also suffer from certain limitations, and which are stated below. What are the limitations? You see, statistics is limited to the study of numerical facts only. Limitations means drawbacks of statistics. Statistics always limited to the study of numerical facts. Means we have already told you that number only numerical data only the statistics. Here the qualitative data, that is the good, intelligent, these are ignored. Second point is that it is the study of aggregate only. Individual items have no consequence statistics. Means if we told you that X, the names of some students name X, he got 60 in economics. So this is not a statistics. Statistics means in your class 11, the 100 students got the mark this. What is the mark of 100 students in economics? So this is called a statistics. But one individual data, it is not a statistics. So this is one limitations. And third point is that in the study of statistics, only homogeneous data is considered. Means the similarities data is calculated. This similarity data is not calculated. Only similar data is counted also or collected also. Here it is not like that. The difference data, there is no link. That type of data is not collected. Next point is that statistical results are true only on average basis. So average basis means here important question maybe come also like that to explain. So here the point you have to understand like that. Suppose there are 5 members, they want to cross a river, but if we see the height of the 4 persons, definitely it will be different. And if we see the deep of the river, it will suppose 5 feet. And if the height of the 5 persons, suppose the average is suppose 6 feet. If we decide to cross the river, then immediately one problem will arise. What? The two sons, they will be get problem. Why? Because as a average their height is 6 feet, but if we individually see their height, then it is not 6 feet. So it is great problem. So that is why statistical results sometimes give wrong data also. And the last point of this topic is that without reference, statistical result may prove to be wrong. Means statistical data, some reference, sometimes it is give wrong data also. So with the reference we have to see, or the only literate person can use the statistics. An illiterate person, he cannot use the statistics. Why? Because it sometimes may prove the wrong. So students, this is all about the chapter 1, the relationship between statistics and economics. What is the definition of economics? What is the definition of statistics? All these things I have explained here. I hope you will find it good, and in the next class we will discuss with the next chapter. Thank you.